Hello, creative and talented friends. Thanks for coming back for step 2. And this is when we are going to make two different activities, two different art pieces. If you would like to do both, that's great. If you have the materials for one but not the other, that's fine too. The other thing you can do is you can kind of change it a little bit. You could draw something on if you didn't have buttons. Finding stuff outside nature, I think, is pretty easy. I'm sure we all have that. So here we go. We're going to start off with the button art, and it's a button tree. And you may have seen I had something like this sitting up on the wall behind my desk. And I know many kids, I know Hazel in particular, who's very arts and crafty. I know Hazel has noticed it, and I'm sure other kids did too. So I was always planning on doing this with us for Mother's Day. So I thought to myself, I think we should just still go ahead. I've had to change it a little bit, but hopefully you were able to find some buttons. All right, like I said, if you weren't able to find buttons, you could always draw these on, or you could see if someone at home has the tissue paper that's left from when you get gift bags. I don't know about your house, but I always save those things and they're up in a closet. So I didn't have many colors, mind you, because I actually gave a whole bunch of them to my great nieces when I made them an art kit. When the start of all this COVID-19 happened, I sent a whole bunch of things to their house. I should have kept more things for myself so I could do things with you. But anyway, so you could always use those, and they're made with just using a piece. I'll just give you an example here. If you want to do it that way to change this activity, you just cut pieces of tissue into little squares, and you get a pen or a pencil, and you twist them around so it looks like that, and then you dip it. I just put a little bit of glue on a scrap piece here. You know me, a plastic lid, whatever you want to use. You glue like that, and then you wrap it and just stick it on the paper. Now I'm holding this up, of course, so it's not doing a good job, but okay. And then that piece will stick on. All right. I just started with blue in the center, and then I went around it with green. I did this a while ago, and it's super sturdy now. Okay. So that's a way that you can kind of change this activity, and maybe you like this one better. Either way is fine. Okay. So to do the button tree, what you need are your nature materials. And so here are mine. I just went outside this morning, my garden, and picked some little flowers that have dried up. These are from my sedum. This is the stalk that grows up from them, and it's all dried up. It's great. I think this is actually a weed. I found this, little seed pods, and of course some leaves and things. So what you want to do is you want to start off just getting a few things ready. So I went through and I made myself, let's see if I can, there you go. I made myself a little tray with all sorts of little things that I can use. And this is just something we always do in our classroom. It's just that usually I'm the one that gets all these things ready for you. So today you've had to get them ready for yourself. So what you're going to do is you're going to take all those little pieces and you're going to choose whichever one of your canvases you want to use. Okay, I have some different ones here that I made up earlier. So you're going to choose one of your canvases, and this activity works well if you give yourself some length. So you're going to want to put it vertical, the longest part, or actually, it depends. If you want your branch to go sideways, it could go horizontal. So you decide, okay? I'm going to put mine for this job vertical. And I'm going to choose just a branch just to show you what I did. So if I found some twigs that were really, really tiny, I could just get a pair of scissors and just cut them so I have some smaller pieces. And I'm going to bend my my screen down right now so that you can see on my paper, okay? So hopefully you can see that okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, you know what artists do? We have to make a plan. So I've got a bunch of these. I'm going to lay them out. And friends, you want to try to lay them so that naturally your twig is going to fall flat because you're going to be gluing these down, right? Remember? So you don't want to put the pointy side trying to stand it up. You want to have it on its flattest part. And then all you're going to do is just play around. So think about, how do I want my branches to look? There we go. I think I'm happy with that. Now, again, play around all you want. When you're happy, you're going to get your white glue. And I'm just going to slide them back slightly. And I'm going to choose my biggest one. And I'm going to run a bead of glue. And remember, just press lightly. You need to have glue on there, and it's going to dry clear, but you don't want to have too much. And now I'm just going to twist it around. So again, it lies the way I want it to. And a little bit might stick up, like the tip, not a problem, as long as most of it catches the paper. It'll dry and it'll be perfect, okay? So remember, right now, it's still wet. So you can't be touching it or moving it around a lot, okay? You're gonna need to give it time to dry. I'm just gonna choose my next one. I'm gonna run a little bit of glue along here. You get the idea. And there we go. Let's see how I want this one to face. I want it to face this way. There we go. Okay, and see how it wants to kind of turn the other way. I want to keep it so the most of it will touch so that it will stick. Now you're going to get a little bit of glue on your fingers, so a great idea is to have a damp cloth beside you, and then you can just tap. That's why I have this sock here, and you can just tap your fingers on it and get the glue cleaned off of them. Okay, glue this one down. There we go. At any time, if you're not happy with it, what do? You pull it off and you start again, okay? But the best idea is to make a plan so that once you have your glue down, you're pretty set, okay? There we go, I like that. And you want to leave a little bit of room in between your buds because depending on the size of your buttons, you need to have space. So let's see here, I've got one more. I'm going to glue this down up here. Okay. There we go. So we've got it looking like this. Now you don't want to lift yours up like I just did because it's still wet. It's not dry, it's going to move. So I'm being really careful. So leave it flat on your table. All right. And what I would actually do right now is let this sit for a couple of minutes. Okay. Let that glue have a chance to hold so that once you start putting on your buttons or your paper, if you're going to do the option, or if you're going to draw them on, any of those things, you want to give those sticks a chance just to really harden up so that they stick to the paper. It's not hot glue, so white glue isn't instant. We know this. So walk away for a bit. Go get a snack. Or you could even start the other art activity and then come back to doing the next step of this one. Okay, that's a great idea too. I'm going to just go ahead just to show you. So again, I'm going to bring my paper, my screen down, and I don't have very many colorful buttons left because I used them on the example I made for you. But I'm going to go through and choose some buttons. And again, I'm not gluing them down yet. I'm going to lay them on my paper and see how I'm happy with them. Okay, before I would glue them down. Now you can put them all beside. You can put them two pieces to go close together. You can put them in the corners. You can do whatever you want because you're the artist. And no matter what, your mom or your grandmother, if you choose to make one for your grandmother, are going to love this. Okay, so there we go. All right, so same thing. I'll turn it around so you can see it the way I'm looking at it. All right, and so same thing. I'm just going to take my white glue, and on the back of the buttons, I'm going to put a nice generous dab of glue. Okay, so take a look there. See? And place them down. And the great thing about this is, like we talk about with white glue, it will dry clear. What I don't want to do is get my fingers all over my background color. So again, just keep dabbing off if your fingers are getting too gluey. Okay, and that's all you do. All right, and then you're going to take that and let it, see, they all aren't glued down. You're going to, of course, let it sit. Don't walk around. Don't go moving it around and showing people. You gotta let it dry. And because we're just using white glue, you need to let that sit, and the buttons have some weight. You need to let that sit for about, an hour, okay, before you're ready. Once you have it sitting and it's dry, this I made earlier, and it's really sturdy. I don't have to put this in a frame like I said, but I can. So there's the piece I had before. Back it in, pop it in my frame, and there it is right there. Now, tell me, which one of your moms would not love that? Okay, so then I would just put the back on the frame. And you could always ask an adult, not your mom, but somebody else or an older brother or sister to help you with that. Okay, so